Welcome back to the library, guys. This is Mr. Collier. I want to go over your theology project today. We're going to start here at the library portal and go over to the portal page where you can find the Hebrew Scriptures assignment down here under the Documents header, and it says Modern Prophets. And today we're going to be looking for certain people that are considered modern-day prophets. And I have 3 resources on here: Gale eBooks, Gale Global Issues, and ProQuest eLibrary. You should not be using Google or Wikipedia for your information. You might be using Google to find images later, though. So I'm going to start with a basic search on someone who's a big name person and show you the kinds of things that you can find. And then I'll go through another search really quickly for someone who's more difficult to locate information about. So in Gale, just open up Gale eBooks here, and right in the box, you can put in the person's name. Now you'll notice that I did not bother capitalizing it. The computer does not really care if you capitalize or not. And Dorothy Day here is extremely well known and has been working for a long period of time, so that she's got a lot of entries here in the encyclopedias that are in the ebooks. So you have no trouble finding information about her. And once you get your resource, click the title. You'll have the article just like you would in any normal encyclopedia. You can go through and read this. This one is fairly short. Some of them are quite a bit longer. When you find something that you want to use, you can print it out. Up here at the top, there's a print button. You can also get a citation for it by clicking the little quotation marks. And notice that this will export directly to Noodle Tools. So everything from Gale will export like this. And as long as you've got your project open, you can click that button. It'll send it right over to your Noodle Tools project. You can also save a copy of this. Do not bookmark the link up here at the top, though. Use the little get link right here and save this link. This link is persistent. The link up at the top will actually expire after a couple of hours, and you won't be able to get back to this. All right, so that's Gale eBooks. Now there's another Gale option on here. It's Gale Global Issues. This is actually different. It does look very similar in the way that it's set up, but the kinds of things that you find in here, so let's do Dorothy Day again. The kinds of things that you find will be very different from Gale eBooks. You'll be finding viewpoints articles, which are kind of opinion pieces, but often will give you facts and figures. There's a reference section which sometimes will overlap with the ebooks that we just looked at. And here you can see that we're getting different ebooks than the first ones that we looked at. There's a biography section that won't have everybody in it, but if you can get one of these, it's an excellent way to get some biographical information. There's video, audio, magazine articles, newspaper articles, and in any of these sections, they show you the first 3 articles. To see the rest, click on the header, and it will show you the remaining articles there. And if you find something you like, obviously, you just click on the title, and you will get the article just like we did with the ebooks. At the bottom of each article is a copy of the citation. You can also click the little Noodle Tools right here to export as well, so that you don't have to use the site up here. But for longer articles, sometimes this is easier to use. Again, use the get link. Don't use the link that's at the URL bar at the top. Okay, and the last resource here is ProQuest eLibrary. I'm going to give you guys a piece of advice. This is not where you want to start your search because the information in here is going to be overwhelming. Okay, so if I do Dorothy Day here, you'll see 312,000 results. That's an awful lot for me to dig through. Now, some of these things are fine, but you'll find you're overwhelmed with things like book reviews. That's okay. You can find articles about the person, but for someone who is really, really well known like Dorothy Day, this is not the place I want to be looking. And probably I will have already gotten plenty of information from the other 2 resources. So if you have found your information in the other 2 resources, you probably don't want to spend your extra time looking through here. This is going to be the resource you use to find people who are a little more difficult to locate information about. Let me give you an example of that. So we'll come back over here, and I'm going to open Gale ebooks back up again, and I'm going to do a search for someone who is very difficult to find for several reasons. So Hannah Song is someone who is more recently active, and our Gale reference doesn't cover close enough up to the current day to include her. So we're getting people named Hannah, but it's not Hannah Song. So Gale ebooks is not going to help us out here. This is the only thing that came up, and it's about the wrong Hannah. So I'm going to close that. So if that happens to you, don't panic. Try Gale Global Issues. And let me show you a problem that you might experience with this. When we search Hannah Song, we're finding Miley Cyrus, who is known for playing Hannah Montana and is a singer. So here's, for example, Hannah Montana. So there's Hannah, and then we've got Song showing up somewhere here in this article. So that's not what I need. Now, this particular article might be useful to us because I happen to know that Hannah Song is someone who helps with people in North Korea who are being persecuted. So this particular article is including her, and you can see that what I typed in shows up in red right here. So she is included in this article, and I can use this. That'll be fine. But it's not particularly in-depth about her. So I want to go back to my results. I want to see what else I've got. We'll see that there's a lot of news articles here, but they're bouncing all over the place. I'm going to finish with Gale in context here. I'm going to close it, and I'm going to go back over to ProQuest. You guys remember I had Dorothy Day in here. I'm going to take her out. I'm going to put Hannah Song in just to show you. I'm going to do it like this. There will be 45,000 results, but again, it's Hannah Montana, and this is not the person I want. So to help you'll notice that it's looking at Hannah like this and then Song separately. I can narrow this down by putting quotes around Hannah Song, and what it does is stops the computer for looking for the words backwards like this, and we'll narrow it down to people's names, and that will help me a little bit. Now I'm down to 47. That's a lot better. I'm still also getting things like Arlington Heights, Illinois honor roll. This is somebody else named Hannah Song that is not the person I want. So I can also add keywords. I know that she dealt with refugees from Korea, so I'm going to add Korea, and now I'm down to 16 articles, and I can tell that these are all about Hannah Song because there's her name, okay? And then I can click on any one of these to read the actual article. With someone like Hannah Song here, I'm going to have to look at a lot of different resources. So I'm probably going to have to go through all 16 of these articles to gather enough information about her. Not all of the people are going to be that difficult, but some of the ones that are marked as a challenge will require that kind of effort to gather the information you need. One last note about ProQuest is that you can get the citation here, and it will be in, make sure it's in MLA 8th edition format. They don't have an export to Noodle Tools on here, unfortunately, but you can copy this and it should be okay. But make sure you double check the capitalization and the punctuation, because sometimes ProQuest gets that slightly off. And my last note is to remember that you have Noodle Tools. You're not doing a works cited page for this, but you do have to cite your sources. Any of these databases, you can take the citation from them, put them into your Flipgrid, just make sure they're correct. Or if you're comfortable using Noodle Tools, continue using that, and that way you're 100% certain that your citations will be properly formatted. So that's it, guys. Good luck on the project, and I will see you again in the library later.